told me, we're gonna tell this story today on camera. It triggers me so hard. Whereas if this would have happened in an American embassy, I feel like Americans would have been freaked out.
Somebody would be calling 911, starting to pick up the fight in the bar. You say, "Пошли выйдем." Like, let's get out of here.
Violence is never the answer, kids. He said it with a little grin on his face.
Now, just so you understand.
I think Oleg's gonna get into a fist fight with the Ukrainian Embassy ambassador.
Which made me realize that things are not gonna go according to the plan. Because don't worry, bro, I got you. Is not how my return to the US should be contingent on. Well, it's probably going to be about a week after the 4th of July would be celebrated, so you guys would probably already forget about it. However, the quarantine will still be in place. That's the only thing we can rely on nowadays.
Yeah,
so it's still going to be here.
We're not going to do anything. We have no plans. Have plans to have no plans.
I have a plans to have no pants. That's...
Plans to have no pants?
Yeah, I have a plans to have no pants.
It's a pretty good plan. So because we could not do our normal 4th of July festivities, usually I would go and have a barbecue with my friend and we would watch her dad blow a bunch of illegal Mexican fireworks, but that's not happening this year. So instead we decided to just make some dinner at home and to share a story with you guys.
Typical American dinner.
Yes, this is a typical 4th of July dinner, right?
And typical Ukrainian story.
And a typical Ukrainian story. So it kind of goes hand in hand. This story that we're gonna tell today happened about two years ago. A little over.
And the story is about me. And you guys know me as pretty nice and really well-rounded guy. Is that?
Oh, very even keel guy. Yeah, does not get mad easily.
Yeah. Yet, I did almost get into the physical altercation with the official ambassador of Ukraine.
So we're gonna tell this story. This happened, like we've said, about 2 years ago. It was January of 2018. And to preface this story, we were supposed to go to Ukraine that year. So he needed to go get his passport replaced because it had expired, right?
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct. So in the beginning of January, I did decide to finally go to Ukraine because I haven't been there since the time I arrived to the US. My father has died. Obviously, all of my nieces have grown. I haven't seen my sister, my mom, none of my friends, all people that I love, and to introduce Eva to my family. In order for me to do that, I did need to renew my Ukrainian passport. And in order for me to do that, I did have to go to the embassy, which there are only few in the US. The closest one is the one in San Francisco, and that's the one that we decided to go to.
Yes. The first time we went was, I would say it was right after New Year's, and we were in pretty good spirits, even though it didn't start out very well because we couldn't get a hold of them, and when we did, they were very, very rude. They act like you're constantly bothering them. It's not pleasant. It's just this little office in the middle of San Francisco, basically. And you have to get there like hours early. And we didn't know that the first time. We got there a little bit early, but there was already a line. We were there like almost an hour early. They're only open for like 5 hours during the day. And if they can't see you, then you're shit out of luck, basically. Like they're not gonna see you and you have to come back the next day. But a lot of people were really stressed out, I remember, in that line because some people had come from other states.
We went through the line pretty quickly. We got to the actual point. We gave them all of the necessary documents that they needed. We gave them the check. They took a picture of me. When
they said, we can expedite this and you'll get it in 2 weeks, I told Oleg, oh yeah, it's the same thing here in America. You can get your passport in the month or whatever, the 4 to 8 weeks, or you can pay extra and they'll get it to you in 2 weeks and then give you a tracking number. Always get an expedite service and it always comes before the 2 weeks.
I got so excited that after coming back home, we did buy tickets to Ukraine.
Not gonna happen! No, not gonna happen!
Given it about 3 months, so just
we wanted to be safe, right?
We did want to be safe, so we gave it another 2 months. So after a couple of weeks, my passport didn't come. Needless to say that it didn't come after a month and a half, 2 months. So we had another month left until our tickets
until our flight to Ukraine.
Until our flight to Ukraine. So I started calling the embassy. There's no way to reach them. Their phone is always busy. Lucky for me, I did end up getting the personal phone number from the girl that actually works in the embassy.
Which was smart. You did that, I think. Like,
I knew that.
He knew. He was like, you know, just in case,
go down.
He's like, just in case when we were there the first time, I'm gonna get this girl's phone number, the girl who worked at the front desk, in case I can't get a hold of them again.
Obviously, we couldn't reach the embassy, but I was able to reach the girl after offering her a little compensation. Now,
Bribing her.
I wouldn't call it bribery. I would just call it encouragement. Okay? She would at least give me phone numbers of the institutions in Ukraine that would oversee the process. She would kind of guide me through that. So I was really thankful to her for doing that, because there was no way for me to find out what was going on with my passport. And the time was obviously coming close.
Who would have thought that the passport wouldn't have come in 3 months? So we started calling the passport services in Ukraine, and we started kicking up a fuss there. We were calling the embassy, we were kicking up a fuss there whenever we could actually get a hold of somebody, which was like 9 times out of 10 you couldn't.
So by talking to this girl, I found out that there's a document called Повернення в Україну, which is translated as a return to Ukraine. She assured me that with this document, I could actually come back to Ukraine and pick up the passport over there in Ukraine, in Kiev, where I was going anyway. I could make sure I can get a hold of somebody in Ukraine, get their guarantee, that the confirmation that they have a passport, the day I'm gonna come to their facility and pick it up. Now, I think my bubble started to burst when I started having those conversations with people from Ukraine. And they would tell me that, yes, it says that the passport is at our location, but we don't have it. So everything is okay. What exactly do you mean everything's okay? They would say, oh, no, that's just how things are. We always have this mess up with the tracking numbers, so it should arrive at some point in time. Nobody could guarantee me that by the time when we'll be in Ukraine, somebody will have my passport. 2 days before our flight, I flew to San Francisco. I spent the night in San Francisco in order to be able to get to the embassy at 4 a.m. or some ungodly hour, to be there in front of all of the babushkas to get the document that was supposedly allowing me to go to Ukraine. The funny thing started when I was applying for the document at the window with the guy that later on, about a month after that, wanted to fight my ass, which is an official ambassador of Ukraine in San Francisco. So when I was at the window and the girl that was helping me out, the girl that I was supposedly bringing the thank you note for all of her help.
She was your one connect.
She was my one connect to the embassy. So she was standing right next to him, and I was explaining to him that I needed this document in order to go to Ukraine. And he said, yeah, no problem, I'm gonna give you the document, but you're not planning on coming back, right? Which made me go, what?
At which point the girl started to slink away because she was standing there.
Yeah.
She had told him, you will be able to come back with this document.
And I tried to understand what was going on. What do you mean I'm not going to be able to come back? And he said, well, look, we've given this document to so many people. None of them came back. At that point in time, I'm already freaking out. The time is already cutting very close to my flight back to Los Angeles. They just can't even give me that document, which I decided I will get anyway, to research at home whether or not I should use it to go to Ukraine or should I risk it or not.
Yeah.
Trying to get the document, I spent hours in embassy and they just would not be able to give me this bloody document. So after I would text her, she would respond to me, oh, I'm sorry, we just only have one printer or one computer, some nonsense like that, which sounds like nonsense to me.
Yeah, it's an embassy.
It's an embassy. I'm not saying it needs to be well-funded in order to run NASA operations, but it does have to have a working computer and printer. After spending a couple of hours there, and you could probably imagine that I was pretty pissed by the fact that I almost got sent to Ukraine with one-way ticket. Finding out that I need another couple of hours to even get this bloody document, I freaked out at them. They almost sent me to Ukraine without giving me a chance to come back, and they were lying about it. So that's a big thing.
Or they were just ill-informed and giving bad information that could totally ruin somebody's life. Yeah, he got mouthy.
And I told them that they probably shouldn't be working there if they don't know what they're talking about. Very, very colorfully. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah. So you did get the document though, right? They gave it to you?
I did not.
They didn't.
I did not get the document. I
Yeah.
did not get the document because it was still taking them another 2 hours because their printer was not. It was so
And they were
ridiculous.
closing, and we missed our flight.
Of course, we missed our flight
Missed our flight.
because we found out that we're not going there about a day and a half in advance. Obviously, there was no money that we could get back, and so on and so forth. So losing money was just a part of it. Obviously, my mom haven't seen me in 8 years, and having her expectations set up very high, got super
Yeah, it was so
disappointed.
So by now we have missed the flight and we're really upset about it, but we're also still really upset that the passport hasn't come in, and he still needs his passport because we're gonna, you know, obviously try to reschedule this trip eventually. And we both said, hey, we'll both try calling every day until we get a hold of somebody. So one day I actually got a hold of the man who I believe is the consulate. He picked up the phone and I said, I'm calling to inquire about my boyfriend's passport. And his first response was, why are you calling? And I said, well, I'm calling because we both tried calling multiple times and you never answered. He was very, very rude on the phone with me, and he said, we don't have his passport. You know, don't try to call here all the time. We'll get it to you when it gets here. If we get it, we'll call you. And I gave him attitude because I was not happy about it, and hung up the phone. And 20 minutes later,
Hey, we got your passport. Now,
20 minutes later,
at
20
that point in
minutes
time,
after they told me they didn't have it on the phone, they call him.
so they pretty much were messing with her.
Yeah, they
at
were
this
messing
point in
with her.
time. They did tell me that they had a passport. I did receive an email confirmation telling me that the passport is there. You can come pick it up whenever. At our business hours, you don't need an appointment, nothing like that. We got to the embassy pretty early, so we got there on time. They brought a piece of paper where they asked us to write the names of people that are getting their passport today.
Yeah.
I wrote my name. There were only 5 names on that list. That's a short list of people that were getting their passports.
Yeah, they just needed to pick them up. That's
They
it.
just needed to bring the passports out, make us sign certain thing that would clarify that we picked them up. That's it. So this person brings out 4 passports, gives them to all of the people that were picking up their passports, and he has no more passports, and I don't have mine.
He just turns on his heel and walks back in the office.
So he starts walking back to the office. So realizing what's happening, I stand in front of him and I say, hey, where's my passport? On which he replies to me, do you remember what you did the previous time you were here? He says, well, you did something wrong, so I'm gonna teach you a lesson. I'm not gonna give you your passport. So you go home, you think about your behavior.
He had a weaselly little smile on his face. He was loving it. This total power tripping egomaniac.
Eva is sitting there, watching it from the side, when the guy grabs my elbow and tells me, пошли выйдем.
Эй, ты, дядя, пошли со мной выйдем, мама не верит, что я сильный.
Yeah, so what I remember
Official
is
ambassador tells me, пошли выйдем.
he literally, so they're talking and things are really heated, and all of a sudden he grabs Oleg very violently and he drags him outside in the hall. And I don't mean just like a gentle, he attacked him. He grabs Oleg, and Oleg seems very calm, which was freaky to me. I didn't understand, like, how could somebody grab you in such an aggressive, violent manner and you remain so calm? But Oleg's face was very unimpressed, as was everyone around me. And I'm sitting there and I was freaking out because I'm like, this guy wants to throw down in the hall of the Ukrainian Embassy.
And he starts explaining to me that I was not behaving well and he's not gonna give me my passport. I respond to him, there's no way you give me my passport. I'm not living here without my passport. The conversation comes to a halt. It's not going anywhere. He tells me, I'm not gonna give you your passport. I'm telling him, you're not my first grade teacher. You're not my father. You're not gonna teach me a lesson. At that point in time, poor Eva, who's completely...
I was freaking out,
not knowing what the hell's going on. Obviously, what do you do in situations like that? You're damn right, you call your mother. If I'm stepping back, there's no way for me to get anywhere within this situation.
It was so
other than just
ghetto. I couldn't believe that somebody in an official position would behave this way, all because we got mad and he felt like he had to be violent because we told him what was up. Like, hey, we paid for it. It didn't come. You're not doing your job. Which in America, if you were to tell somebody who didn't do their job that, they would say, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah,
you know, let me give you a refund or something.
We're not comparing apples to apples.
But it's interesting because that's, in my mind, what should happen. And yet what happened in this situation was, how dare you tell me I don't do my job right when I don't? Let me fight you in the hall. Mind you, we never got a refund, ever.
Forget about
No, I think that's important to note, that they stole our money. This is the point that Oleg tried to get me involved because, you know, we live in the 21st century in the age of technology. And as we all know, you know, what's happening nowadays is a good example of that. People can be held accountable when they behave in ways that are violent or there's misconduct. All you gotta do is film them. And it's kind of interesting how fast people will change when they know that they're being filmed. I was on the phone with my mom and he goes, get your phone, turn it on video, and follow me. And I'm on the phone with my mom and I said, he's telling me to turn on my video and follow him to talk to this man. And my mom was like, do it. She was like, get off the phone and record him. Hold him accountable, because if he's on video, at the very least, he won't get physical, because he can't be on video trying to start an altercation.
At that point in time, I wasn't asking you a question. I just told you that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Well, but we'll put the video in there.
And we're gonna show the video. The look on his face when he realized that there was a camera on him was brilliant, because he opened that door to his office after Oleg was chasing him, fully expecting to get back in your face and to go be like, all right, we're gonna throw down now. And you see, as he opens the door, he goes,
what's the reason why you gave the passport? Everything was ready. What's the official reason? You told, hey, people over here just heard the conversation that you said you're gonna punish me for my behavior. Can you clarify that?
Yes.
Did he, official person, just come out and said, hey, he's gonna punish me for my behavior before?
This is true.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw that.
So I need to receive my passport. I need to get it now because it already happened for 5 people. There's only 5 people that need to receive passport.
The next one, we're looking for the applications at the moment, so you have to wait.
No,
Yes.
you already gave all of the 5 passport first.
We all saw it, dude.
My name was there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna leave this room.
So
It's not your job to teach people.
I'm gonna be
just
here.
do your job.
You have the people that can clarify that you are trying to be physical with me right now. I'm not gonna
Just
leave
wait
the room.
over there.
No, I'm not gonna
Please.
leave the room.
Look,
no,
please.
No, I'm not.
2,000 years later.
Here.
Will you get the passport right
Yes,
now?
I need to.
He will have
will
it.
get it?
Yes,
I need
sure,
to get. I need to get it now. I'm not gonna leave the room.
You will get it.
How
Please
about
go
you
out.
just step out, give him a chance to get it.
Please.
Give him a chance.
We're gonna keep filming.
Go out. Yeah,
hey,
keep
you're
on
gonna-
filming.
Yeah.
You'll be popular in Hollywood soon.
I'm not gonna fight your ass, but I need to get my passport now. So go ahead and do that, because you're serving me. Okay? You're working in an official organization. You're nobody to teach me the lesson. So give me a freaking passport now.
So,
the video does make you look kind of bad, and without context, you wouldn't have understood like what escalated it to that point. Because of course, once the camera was in the man's face, he tried to make it be very calm, like, oh, you're just so crazy. Why are you doing this? But literally the moment before, he was trying to fight him in the hall. It's just the moment he knew that he was being filmed, he turned it. And you can see in the video that he's like, we're gonna get you your passport. We just don't have it, we need to find it. Or like he tries to give an excuse. The passport was right on the desk next to him. All he had to do was pick it up and hand it to him.
I did have to take other approach. I did have to find another angle. So I thought, hey, let's film it and see, maybe I could use it in court here in the US or in Ukraine if I need to. I just needed to have some kind of confirmation of that conversation actually happening.
We were one of the first people there and one of the last people to leave, because he still, at the end of the day, was gonna make him wait longer than we needed to.
And he still wanted to take me to the hall. We went to the hall and he still wanted to explain to me, now a little bit more calmly, you don't behave this way. You shouldn't have done that. That's not the way to handle things. And I told him to go himself.
But at the end of the day, we did want to make this as a cautionary tale. You'll see on Yelp, if you go on Yelp, there are a lot of people saying these people never pick up their phone. I flew from Hawaii and I was here one day. I needed to get my passport taken care of and I wasted money. This place has a reputation for being pretty inadequate with how they handle people's personal documents. I mean, he told him, I'm gonna withhold your passport. It's an official document. It cannot be withheld from this man for his own personal reasons because you offended me. You have to give people their personal documents. There's no reason why you should have withheld it, and he had no right to do that. For those of you who maybe are Ukrainian who are watching this, to understand what it is maybe you're dealing with when you go and get your passport. First of all, don't make the same mistake we did, and don't expect-
Don't be Ukrainian.
Don't schedule a trip before you have that passport in your hand, because it could take up to, some people were saying 6, 7, 8 months before they were getting their passport, non-expedited, mind you. We got ours expedite and it was 3 or 4 months. They got theirs regular and it was about 8 months. Don't expect to get your passport within the time that they say.
And what this culture is lacking is respect for people's time. It's just very, very disrespectful, and it seems like a common thread. And the part of this story that makes me sad is the fact that when this whole thing was unfolding, there were only few people that were willing to support me and say, yeah, I actually saw how the guy told you, hey, I'm gonna teach you a lesson, I'm gonna do this and this, and the majority of people would just come to me and tell me, you know what, you shouldn't talk this way to somebody who's older, you shouldn't talk this way to somebody who is an official. And I don't think it speaks to me being disrespectful to the older people or to somebody who's in power. It's just, you get adjusted to some good things very quickly, and living in the US for, at that point in time, for almost 8 years, put me in a position where I did feel like things just need to work. People need to have respect to your time, people need to do their jobs. Over here, there's some kind of letter where if you're unsatisfied with the service, you can actually get to the justice. In countries like Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus, Kazakhstan, there's just no way for you to get to that truth without fighting for it, and it does look ugly sometimes. Just because this bureaucracy exists over there doesn't necessarily mean that it should be this way. We all remember how things were in Ukraine, but let's be honest, there's a reason why we're here. I think I would speak on behalf of a lot of people. And write me if I'm wrong. Comment down below if you think you will be able to come back to Ukraine or whatever your country of origin within the ex-Soviet bloc. If you will be able to come back and live a happy life over there. Now, me personally, because of things that I've experienced at the embassy, and just to be clear, it's not just something specific to the embassy. That bureaucratic bullshit will be a part of your daily life if you live in Ukraine, Russia, or any of those countries. And this is the main reason why sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night having a scary dream that I am outside of the US and I can't come back, and I would wake up and I'd be kind of happy. And this is the main reason why I just don't see myself coming back to Ukraine and living there.
So comment down below if you have visited the Ukrainian Embassy. Maybe you have a spouse that is Ukrainian and you needed to help them get their paperwork filed, or maybe you're Ukrainian yourself and you have an interesting story or just a sad story. Yeah, comment down below.
It doesn't have to be a sad story, it could be a fun story.
Or a funny story, because looking back, it was kind of funny, but it's not funny when it's happening, unfortunately.
Not at all.
Not at all. Yeah, I'd be really interested to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna, well, there's no more mukbangs left.
Yeah,
for
there's
us.
no more food left.
There's no more bonbons. Sorry guys, we ate everything.
We hope you guys had a nice 4th of July, even though it probably wasn't, how it normally is. But hopefully you guys had some good food and spent some time with your family. So thank you guys so much for watching and
for listening.
And for listening to our story. Hopefully, if you are Ukrainian, you never have to deal with Baldy at the Ukrainian Embassy.
Or if you do,
he's on my list. Let's just put it that way. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
All right, guys, happy 4th of July, and we'll see you next time.